It started with a laugh, not a nervous laugh, not an awkward one. A cruel laugh, the kind that echoes, the kind that lingers even after the sound fades. Darius Coleman stood frozen across the street as flames climbed the side of his car. His car, a deep blue, custom-ordered, $400,000 machine that represented years of discipline, sacrifice, and restraint. Now it crackled like cheap paper. "Yo, look at his face," someone said, laughing. "Man thought he was something," another voice added. "Should have stayed in his lane." Phones were out. Cameras rolling. Firelight danced in their lenses. Darius did not shout. He did not run. He did not beg. He just stood there, jaw tight, hands clenched, eyes locked on the fire consuming what the bullies thought was his pride. What they did not know was that this fire had just lit something much bigger. Earlier that evening, Darius had parked outside a high-end rooftop lounge, the kind of place where valet attendants decide your worth before you speak. He stepped out in a simple black jacket, no logos, no flash. Calm, confident. That alone had been enough. "Who you think you are bringing that here?" one man had asked, half drunk, full of entitlement. Darius ignored him. That was mistake number one. The laughter came later. The slurs whispered, then spoken louder. A shove, a comment about borrowed money, a joke about how long before repossession. Darius still walked away. That was mistake number two. Minutes later, the smell of gasoline cut through the night. Now the bullies watched their work with satisfaction. Fire crews were on the way. Police too. But no one here thought about consequences. They never do. One man stepped closer, smirking. "Guess money can't buy respect, huh?" Darius finally spoke. "You're right," he said quietly. "It can't." His voice carried no fear, no anger, just certainty. Sirens wailed in the distance. Blue and red lights painted the street. People began to scatter. The bullies stood tall, confident, untouchable. That's how they always felt. Until one officer looked at Darius and froze. "Wait," the officer said slowly. "What's your name?" Darius met his eyes. "Darius Coleman." The officer's expression changed. Another officer stepped closer. "Coleman?" he repeated. "As in?" Darius nodded once. "My father is the Attorney General." The laughter died instantly. Not faded. Died. One bully's face drained of color. Another dropped his phone. Someone muttered, "No way!" Another whispered, "We're done." Darius didn't smile. He looked back at the burning car. "This isn't about money," he said calmly. "This is about what you thought you could do to me." Fire trucks arrived. Police separated the crowd. Questions came fast now. Very fast. Darius glanced around. Phones were still raised. Faces half hidden. He knew what this would become before sunrise. Clips cut short. Captions sharpened. Opinions loud. A detective arrived, eyes scanning the scene with a practiced sweep. "Who owns the vehicle?" "I do," Darius replied. The detective paused, then checked a tablet. Recognition flickered, controlled but real. "Mr. Coleman." "Yes." "Were you threatened earlier this evening?" Darius answered plainly. "I was harassed." I walked away. Then they followed. Across the street, three men stood together, bravado thinning. One paced. Another kept rubbing his hands. The third stared at the blackened wreck, lips pressed tight. The detective gestured to an officer. "Separate them." As they were led apart, one protested. "It was a joke." "We didn't mean—" "Save it," the officer said. Darius watched without expression. A woman stepped forward from the crowd. "I saw it," she said. "They poured something. I recorded it." She held out her phone. More people followed. Another clip, then another. Different angles. Clear faces. Clear intent. The detective exhaled slowly. "That's arson." The word landed heavy. Sirens faded. The street settled into a low hum. The bullies' voices rose, then cracked. "I didn't light it," one said too quickly. "I was just there," another insisted. "You can't prove—" The detective held up a hand. "You can stop talking now." Darius's phone vibrated. Unknown number. He stepped aside and answered. "Darius, son," a familiar voice said. His father's, steady, controlled. "I saw the footage." "It's spreading," Darius replied. "Yes," his father said. "It will. I want you to listen carefully. You do not speak publicly tonight. You give a statement through counsel. You let the system work. Darius looked back at the men who had laughed minutes earlier. Understood. Are you hurt? No. Good, his father said. Because this is bigger than a car. The call ended. A reporter appeared at the edge of the scene, microphone out. Sir, can you confirm you're the Attorney General's son? Darius met her gaze. No comment. She tried again. Do you think this was racially motivated? No comment. Another voice cut in. Do you want charges filed? Darius turned slightly, eyes level. I want the truth recorded. The detective nodded once. By midnight, the clips were everywhere. A luxury car burning, laughter, slurs half caught on audio, then the line that changed the tone. My father is the Attorney General. Comment sections ignited. Some defended. Many condemned. Receipts piled up. Names surfaced. Screenshots of past posts, patterns. The Bullies' employers were tagged. Their schools. Their sponsors. By morning, the internet had done what it always does when the evidence is clear. It remembered. And the men who thought the fire was the end of it learned the truth. It was the beginning. Another stared at the screen, pale. It's not the car. It's the video. No shouting, no chaos. Just footsteps echoing on stone and the low murmur of lawyers exchanging restrained nods. The kind of calm that exists only when consequences are already locked in. Darius arrived early. He wore a dark suit, simple tie, no pin, no badge. He sat in the second row, hands folded, eyes forward. He did not look back. Across the aisle, the men filed in one by one. They looked smaller now. One kept tugging at his collar. Another stared at the floor as if it might open and swallow him. The third tried to project confidence. Shoulders back, jaw tight. But his hands shook when he sat. Their attorneys leaned in, whispering fast, too fast. When the judge entered, everyone stood. Be seated. The prosecutor began with facts. Not emotion, not outrage, dates, times, footage, the gasoline purchase on camera, the ignition, the laughter, the slurs captured in the background. A screen flickered to life. The room watched the fire again. Watched it crawl up the car's side. Watched faces glow orange with satisfaction. One defendant closed his eyes. The prosecutor continued. This was not an accident. This was not a prank. This was intentional destruction motivated by bias. An attorney rose. Objection to motive. Overruled, the judge said calmly. The record supports consideration. Darius listened. He felt the weight of the room settle, not on him, but on the truth. No one needed him to react. The evidence spoke. When it was time for statements, one defendant stood. I didn't mean it like that, he said quickly. I was drunk. I didn't think... The judge interrupted. You thought enough to buy gasoline. Another tried a different approach. We didn't know who he was. The judge looked up. Explain why that matters. Silence. Darius was invited to speak. He stood. He did not raise his voice. I didn't say my father's name to threaten anyone, he said. I said it because I wanted the laughing to stop. I wanted to be seen as a human. The judge spoke clearly. Each word landed where it should. Prison time for 2. Heavy fines and mandatory rehabilitation for the 3rd. Restitution ordered in full. Community service tied to education and bias training. No speeches. No excuses accepted. When the gavel struck, it was over. Outside, Darius did not smile. He did not look relieved either. He looked calm, in a way that comes only after something has been faced directly. Reporters asked if justice felt complete. Justice isn't a feeling, he said. It's a responsibility. Today it showed up. He walked away. Weeks passed. The burned car was replaced, not with something louder or more expensive, but with something practical. Darius returned to his routine. Work, training, long evenings reading case law, not because his father expected it, but because the fire had clarified something. Power did not protect people. Systems did when they were forced to work. His father never once said, I told you so.